This guy has worked with Amitabh Bachchan, with Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, with Asha Bhosle, with Gurunal Ishik has Malkeet Singh. Malkeet Singh.
I don't know, it's Hansraj Hans.
Hansraj Hans.
I've got it takes me a long time to do a song. We don't do songs overnight.
Right.
I can't do that. It takes me 1 week to do my bass. Bass line ਇੱਥੇ ਵੱਜਦੀ ਗਾਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੱਜਦਾ ਹੈ।
ਇਹ ਗੁੱਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਆਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਰੀਸੈਂਟ ਟਵੀਟ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਿੰਗਰ ਥੱਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈਂਬੋਰਗਿਨੀ ਪਾ ਕੇ।
Exactly. Why do you keep singing about the Lamborghini for?
Maybe because that's an aspiration for a lot of Punjabi kids.
No, it's boring. Stop doing it.
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਮਾਈਕਲ ਜੈਕਸਨ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ?
ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਾਧੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਪੜ ਖਾਦੇ।
ਪਾਪੜ ਖਾਦੇ?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had papad. Conversation ki hui between two artists.
He just says to me, "I love you, Bally. India. I love you, Bally." That's how he said it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's my impression of Michael Jackson. Oh, ho, hi, hi. That's backing vocals. Oh, yeah, and haripa.
Haripa.
And hoy. You'll hear my voice in a lot of songs.
Radio City 91.1 Yuvi मेरा नाम है मेरी खब्बी सीट ते. He's a legend. He is +7 years my age with his experience from UK. Bally Sagoo, the Indian music producer, a very popular DJ. ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਕਾਲਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਮੈਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋਇਆ. ਭਾਜੀ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਸਿਟੀ. ਵੈਲਕਮ.
Thank you for a great intro, yeah. Nice to be here.
ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਜਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਏ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਲੈਕ ਪਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ. What is your obsession? What is the artist obsession with the color black?
I don't know, because when I see people and they say, you know, is black your favorite color? I don't know. It's never been like that. But yeah, possibly it is. I'm comfortable feel karda hai black de vich.
Black pocket.
Yeah, black. Definitely black jeans, black t-shirts. And from starting days, I think living in England, that's what we wear. Black t-shirts, black jeans and stuff. And aajkal dekho sare ne kaale hi paye hai. Dekho sare baithe kaale kapde paye hai.
वो तो आपा तो ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ.
So yeah, no, I mean, you know, just growing up in England, it's always been like that, really. Cold country. Chitte kapde ne gande hoye hunde. It's you know, it's always chilly there.
But बहुत ਘੱਟ ਲੋਕੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ. You're raised in England, but you're born in Delhi.
I was born in Delhi, and people keep saying, you know, were you actually born in Delhi? I'm like, yes, but it doesn't really count because my family came from Africa. And as soon as my dad decided to move to the UK, he sent my mom here, who gave birth to me, and then immediately we moved to the UK. So my chairman in Asiga. I was born in a place called Ranjit Nagar.
Oh, yes.
In Delhi, yeah. So I was only 6 months old when I left, so it doesn't really qualify. But yes, I was born in Delhi and then straight to the UK.
But it's never been like all these years that you come to Delhi, often you visit for shows and everything, and you're like, ek baar geda ta mara Ranjit Nagar.
Yeah, maina na ji karda. I've not actually been to Ranjit Nagar. I've told my friends, can you take me there? Where is Ranjit Nagar? I want to see, because I was born in a home, a house there. And God, we hote hi hona hai. So if anyone knows where Ranjit Nagar is, let me know, man.
So from being born in Delhi to then going to Birmingham,
UK, yeah. We lived in London, then we moved to Birmingham after a while.
How was your first brush with music? How did music enter your life?
From school days, really, because I grew up in a very multicultural area, and otte zyada kale hunde sige, apne bande nahi hunde sige. And I immediately got friends with a lot of black guys. And then at school, I mean, I was about 10. I constantly kept banging the table with my hands. And I was constantly making beats on the pencil sharpener, and the teacher was constantly shouting at me. And my friend, he would be playing beats at the same time. And then he was telling me, this is reggae, bro. I'm like, what? And then we kind of like started vibing together, and that's really how I got into it. And then the radio, listening to a lot of, the top 40 music in the UK. I was completely anti-Indian. I was not listening to Indian music. I had no clue about my culture because I've never been to India. So growing up in the UK, I was fed a lot of the soul music, the Motown music, and those were my influences. So mera music genre was always mainly American, British music. Yeah, reggae, come soul, come Motown. And my music collection started from when I was 10. I've been buying records since I was 10 in 1974. So since then, I bought so many records. Mera room parya paya records, vinyls and all. I probably have the best record collection than any other Asian kid out there. I'm pretty sure because my collection goes
74.
back from '74. I mean, in 1977, when Saturday Night Fever came out, I remember that changed my life. Saturday Night Fever, the movie, if you don't know, the soundtrack is the most amazing soundtrack. That really was my point of when I was like, whoa. And I would get my cassettes and I would put in the joints on there, making remixes in 1977. I was 13 years old. So I was doing the chopping up and the editing and the making, and I never knew how we can loop something because there was no facility. I want to loop this section. So my tape nu join karke loop kar danda siga.
So from 74, you start collecting CDs and cassettes.
Not CDs, records.
Records, sorry.
ਉਹਦੇ ਸੀਡੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ਉਹਦਾ ਟੇਪ
ਕਸੈਟਾਂ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ
ਕਸੈਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ 8 track ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ
8 track,
and
yeah.
record ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ 7 inch and 12 inch and my dad was a big collector of records as well. My dad has an amazing music collection.
Music had a space in your family before.
Oh yeah, my mom still she sings Shabad Gurwani in the Gurdwara. My mom is har roj harmonium na Shabad Kirtan kardi hai mom. My dad was the same. My dad had a band in the 60s. In the UK, my dad had the first band. It was called the Musafas.
Wow.
So that was an instrumental band, and they cut a record. It was a 7-inch record, and I still have a copy of it on my wall. And that was in 67, 68. Matt Charak Saldasiga. And yes, there was a banjo lying around the house. And yeah, my dad was a constant black and white film encyclopedia.
You used to sit at the dinner table with your dad, mom, and you discussing music?
Yeah. Even, I mean, later on in life, they wanted me to be more Indian. I was more Western. So I was what we call a confused Asian kid growing up in the UK because how can we relate to the music scene? Because the Asian music scene was traditional Bollywood songs. ਜਿਹਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗਾਣੇ parents ਸੁਣਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਐਸੀ ਗੋਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਲਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ there was no
Indian songs when you were growing up.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ normal ਲਤਾ ਮੰਗੇਸ਼ਕਰ ਦੇ ਫਿਲਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ listen ਕਰਦੇ ਨਾ growing up because it's the normal thing. You always identify to the songs that you grow up with.
Right.
Now like you, a lot of kids say Bally Sagoo man ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ grow up ਕੀਤਾ. So it was the same for me when I was growing up. I didn't have the Indian songs. I had the Gore Kalyan songs. Like Michael Jackson Hoga, the Bee Gees and Boney M and Bob Marley. These are my roots and my inspiration. I didn't have an Indian kid that I could say, who was there? There was nobody.
Yeah.
So my inspiration didn't really come from an Indian background because I didn't get inspired by that. Now I've inspired so many kids.
Absolutely.
DJ banna, main music karna, main remixes karne. So I was doing remixes.
I like this expression of remixes.
Yeah, because I think the remixing got a bad name. Churalia Volume 75. Come on, man. Kanda Laga Volume 92. And their volume karne to sigane diya. I was like, what the hell's the matter with you, man? I did Churalia, I did all these mehboobas because they weren't done before. They were classic, not remixes, covers. There's a big difference between a remix and a cover. People here get confused. Those were not remixes, they were covers. So what I did was with Bollywood Flashback in 1994, I signed a major deal with Sony Music. When they heard my album, they said, this is a groundbreaking album, like Sholay the movie. Everybody around the world will get this album. And they did.
Right.
Bollywood Flashback became one album that every household around the world pretty much got. Why? Because I got it right with the combination of the songs and the style of music, and I didn't know it was going to blow up the way it did. And so, yeah. And everybody kept saying, whoa, this is the best remix album, best thing. And I thought, well, first of all, it's not a remix album, it's a cover version album. Apa gana dware cover kite gane. Remix is when you take the original soundtrack. I didn't take the original soundtrack. We redid the music, re-got the singers. Like now, if we sit down and we do a Michael Jackson song, that's not a remix, is it? Right. It's a cover.
Absolutely.
Kabhi Kabhi Gana Kita Hun, it's not a remix, it's a cover. Main Churaliya Gana, I took an old song and I made it come back to life. And I redid the song. So that was a cover. But India, they keep calling them remixes.
Yeah.
And then what happened was the guys here started doing 75 volumes of the same song. And you are spoiling the name. But then everybody got fed up of it. Remixing got a bad name.
Yeah.
Everybody started doing covers and remixing. And oh, jaldi haa badke kar jande sige. Manu 3 mahine lage yaar gaane dete. It takes me a long time to do a song. Ithe ta raat na gana roti khande gana tayar ho janda. We don't do songs overnight.
Right.
I can't do that. It takes me 1 week to do my bass. Beat loni ya kedi beat loni kidda da drum lona kidda da snare lona. And so I'm very particular about my sound.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗੁੱਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਆਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਰੀਸੈਂਟ ਟਵੀਟ ਕਿ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਿੰਗਰ ਥੱਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈਂਬੋਰਗਿਨੀ ਪਾ ਕੇ?
Exactly. Why do you keep singing about the Lamborghini for?
Maybe because that's an aspiration for a lot of
No,
Punjabi kids.
no, it's boring. Stop doing it. Don't
Can
keep-
we say this to the camera? Every musician, every North Indian artist who's listening, stop putting Lamborghinis
Yeah, and,
your-
and it's not Lamborghinis, okay? It's Lamborghini.
in your songs, whatever it is.
I'm serious. I mean, I'm like, here's another song with the Munde Lamborghini na kumdrende. Kisi ko Lamborghini hai hi nahi, hai hi nahi, no? Lamborghini, man, Lamborghini na kumdrende. It's just getting too much, man. Keep it real. Do something different. There's nothing wrong with having an ambassador, man.
Mhm,
Classic Indian car.
mhm.
So do something differently. And I'm like, well, like Madhani Kaurgadas now, Dam Maro Dam, right?
Mhm.
What a crazy, amazing song.
Absolutely.
I would have loved to have covered that song,
Mhm,
but the reason why I haven't done it is because it's done to death. I took songs that weren't covered.
mhm.
That was all I did. And when I did Churalia, Artie Berman came to the studio. Unfortunately, he passed away before my album came out. Would be nice to get his input. Imagine India, yeah? I recorded this album. I went to Bombay, and I heard Mera Gana record ho raha hai, bahar Artie Berman khada hai. And unfortunately, he went before I finished dubbing the song. And then when the album came out, unfortunately, he passed away. But if you look at the back of the album, I dedicated the whole album to Artie Berman because I would have loved to have heard
Mhm.
what did he think of my version of Churalia. I can never compete with the original, but I made a new version of it, completely changed it.
But doesn't that leave you incomplete as an artist, that you're remaking someone's song, and that guy who you could have met, got an input, maybe grown as an artist at that moment?
Absolutely, yeah. I would have loved to have, sat down and say, what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? What do you think of this from one musician to another? And unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, in 1994, di ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ Bombay ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੈਂ, I got very sick while I was recording the album as well. But I was like, I'm going to try this experiment here. How will old Bollywood songs sound coming back to life today, like Jurassic Park?
Mm.
Because it was not done before, Yuvi,
True.
man. This was the first of its kind.
Mm.
And when I came to India, you know what the guys were saying to me? They go, "Tu pagal ta nahi hai, tu purane gaane record karne, and tusi paise bhi sanu dene record karne." I go, yeah. I want you to record some old songs. They're like, we don't do that. ऐसे गाने नमे record कर देंगे. साढ़े पुराने गाने कोई नहीं पुराने गाने record करता. खास करके to this level.
Mhm.
I had strings, I had orchestras, I had musicians, and I'm like, मनु ना गाने आधे piece चाहिए दोबारा play करके.
Hmm.
And I said,
Live play karke studio.
live all those parts. I had all these musicians play all these parts. They had no clue about मैं की करना है नाल.
Mhm.
फिर मैंने 6 महीने लगे ना जब मैं वापस गया. And then I made the album, and then I thought of the title. This album is a flashback at Bollywood. What a great title, Bollywood Flashback. Hence, it came out in 94. And then I did the sequel with Noori and everything
Mhm.
in 2000. 6 साल बाद मेरा sequel है. तुसी रात ही रात sequel कर देंगे. I took time. Why is it that I've not done Bollywood Flashback 3? It's a good question. 2000, and you've not done Volume 3.
Mhm.
Because charm chal janda. Secondly, and also, it got a bad name. People started doing too many covers and remixing.
Mhm.
So I thought, just wait for the right time.
Mhm.
Like I myself, people say, are you ever going to do Volume 3?
Mhm.
Possibly, I don't know. I don't wake up in the morning and think, right, today my Volume 3 karna.
But Volume 3 je tusi karonge vi sahi. What era of music are you going to pick?
This is a very good question. This is a very difficult thing to work out.
Mhm.
How can I decide? Bollywood is this big, man.
Right.
How can you choose Churalia, Mehbooba, Rupa Taramastana? How can Kurbani? It's difficult to choose a few sons to put in a project when you got millions of songs.
Mhm.
But I know one thing's for sure.
Hmm.
It'll be good to do a Flashback 3 because the whole world has asked me.
Mhm.
Everybody
But
says
in your
that.
head, have you jot down that era of music? These 5 years bracket or this 6 is the era, the kind of music in Bollywood it was? Maybe from the early 2000s?
Well, then my question puts down. What do you think about the music scene at the moment? What do you think about the music scene in the last few years? Bollywood de gaane, achhe gaane kad bane aise ge? And I think,
I can't be honest on the camera.
why not? Manu to कहता हूँ इसके बाद आप झूठ बोलना है.
Where you are 40 years you're 40 years into the
It
game.
doesn't matter. It's common sense. I think everyone will agree. पुराने गाने सब तो अच्छे होंगे सही है. There's no doubt about that.
By the way, आजकल Bollywood पुराने गाने ਨੂੰ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ again we're not remaking.
ਗੰਦ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ.
Absolutely.
ਗੰਦ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ. Absolutely. Why is that? It's just ridiculous. And everybody says the same thing. ਸਤਿਆਨਾਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਗਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵੀ
Mhm.
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗਾਣੇ ਵੀ. ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ trend ਬਣ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ. No film works without a Punjabi song.
Have you been approached to remake a
Dude,
song?
they ask me all the time. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And I tell you why also. Because you can't compete with the original song, firstly. And over the karte, they'll take a Punjabi song and twist it and make it into a Hindi song. And sometimes you can't do that, you lose the charm of it. ਇੰਨੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗਾਣੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਲਮਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ। I think so. And I think everybody agrees. ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੀ ਆ and blah 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 blah. It's not easy to take a real gem and make it into a super gem. You're standing against a big competition already. ਜਦ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਾਹ ਪੜ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਬਣ ਸਕਦਾ even if you got Akshay Kumar in the film or you got some super duper actor in the film, the Ghana already is a huge song. To say ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗੇ it helps with the movie star, but that's just for the film purpose. There's a movie star there. When you play the songs, it's difficult to compete with the original song. It's
maybe the hunt for an artist today is to earn money and not make good music.
well ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਰਾਤ ਹੀ ਰਾਤ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਬਣ ਗਿਆ
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ maybe ਲੋਕੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ if the producer wants, if a film producer wants, I'll pay you an X amount which is 10 times more than the original amount, but I want a song that you remake.
See, that's a problem. Ajkal is paisa hoga, ah hoga. It's not for the love of the music, you know. You can't recreate a Rolls Royce Phantom and say you're going to make it even better now and do something really mad. It's going to be a difficult task. It's not easy. That's why I don't want to do these kind of tracks. I get people saying to me all the time, "You're the best at recreating this. You're the best at redoing that." I'm like, okay, what are you comparing with? You're comparing with a Ferrari right now. If you're going to beat a Ferrari, don't stick a Maruti in front of it, man.
Putting everything to rest. Back in the day, I think I had 2-3 questions मैं पहले jot down किए थे. You did the Michael Jackson tour, the India tour.
Yeah, history.
How's it? Michael Jackson, like the biggest superstar ever.
When I tell my daughter about this as well, she can't because she was so young, and like, well, really that happened? Like, yes, in part of the history tour that took Michael Jackson to India. 50,000 people. We opened up for it. Why? Because I was mainstream. I had my mainstream Dil Cheese, and I was in the billboards, and they needed an Indian artist that's mainstream as well, and so it was a perfect thing. And yeah, I mean, how can I explain? 50,000 people. All of a sudden, Churalia, Ajana Chle, Mera Launga, Chaguna, Ishmata, all these songs on stage, and you're seeing all these kids hands in the air. I don't think that you can't beat that.
That's before Michael Jackson used to perform? Before?
Yeah, because he was there. He's coming in after us on the same stage. We've got the stage now, and for 45 minutes we just played it. And you don't even see these people. It's more nerve-wracking when you got 10 people in the room. When you got 50,000 people, you don't see them. They're just tiny spots.
Yeah.
And what I remember is when Churalia came, the whole place erupted because of the beeline. And everyone was just like so crazy because ਗਾਣਾ 2 ਸਾਲ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਟੂਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ 96 ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਨਾ and Churalia I did in 94 and it was like just fresh, like, you know, just that sound and it just came out. Everyone's ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਗਾਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ and when you have it on stage it was just an amazing experience. And yeah, I mean, I still, when people say you've performed all over the world, you've done this, you've done that, where's the best place to perform? There's no doubt about that. That will always be the top of the, you know, for me, like, you know, India the which Michael Jackson the show, blah blah blah. That's just something special.
So ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਮਾਈਕਲ ਜੈਕਸਨ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ?
ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਾਧੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਪੜ ਖਾਦੇ।
ਪਾਪੜ ਖਾਦੇ?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had ਪਾਪੜ.
And I gave him my CDs, signed my CDs.
The conversation ਕੀ ਹੋਈ between two artists?
He just says to me, "I love you, Bally. I love India. I love you, Bally." That's how he said it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's my impression of Michael Jackson. Because that's how he spoke, not how he speaks, how he spoke. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, what a moment, what a time. I mean, you know, amazing. And but that's sad. But yeah, we don't have footage of it because although not phone, camera, phone, blah blah blah, TV channel there were, but there was no social media. And I still got the tickets and I got the flyer, which is the only thing I have, which is like, you know, it's collectors now, you know, having that ticket. Like people who bought tickets in those days, some people probably still got them in their collection. Like, here's the ticket and it says my name there and it's got all the artists there and blah, blah, blah. And there is sports complex. And then all the details are there and all the sponsors, blah, blah, blah. That's something worth getting hold of. And about the social media, so sadly, we don't have the phone. We don't have phone footage. Just like when I work with Nusrat, jab aise gaane record kitte Nusrat na sade ko phone camera nahi sahi na. And same as Amitabh Bachchan when he was with me for 6 months. We didn't have phone cameras, man.
This guy has worked with Amitabh Bachchan, with Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, with Asha Bhosle, with Gurunal Shikkim, it has Malkeet Singh.
Malkeet Singh. Ajana is Hansraj Hans.
Hansraj Hans.
The great. Yeah. I've worked with the best Bollywood singers, from Sonu, Alka, everybody, Shreya. On my albums, I've worked with all of them. And I handpicked those singers, by the way, and I made them sing in Punjabi. Why? Because it wasn't done thing. They said, "You're going to get the Bollywood singers to sing Punjabi songs." I'm like, yes. And why can't they?
एक नुसरत साहब बारे में पूछना है.
Well, that's
Tell me the
probably
experience.
well, that's the best experience I've ever had in my life. 1991 मेरे स्टूडियो आके ताकि ऐसी गाने बैठ के रिकॉर्ड जब मैं गाने उन्हें गाए भी सी ना मेरे वास्ते. I was telling him गाना ना इदा गायो ए स्टाइल ते गाना गाना है and no hand claps.
No hand claps.
No, because I'm not going to do a traditional quality album. Magic Touch is not.
This is what
This is why we had a bit of a problem when we were recording because of it. Spilla ही नहीं से गिरा mic तो
Right.
I wanted a click. पहली चीज़ है मैं music बाज किता सेगा. I recorded to a click track on a computer, Atari 1040 computer सेगा साड़ा. And मैंने नहीं पता की करना मैं. But as usual मैं क्या मैंने medium, slow, fast गाने चाहिए थे. अद्धे गाने उधर लिखे से बैठ के उन्होंने. And then when Nusrat came, it was a Sunday afternoon. And that was the first time I actually met Nusrat Saab. And फिर मैं जब बैठा ना फिर मैं कैसे इधर गाने गाने हैं सानू बाजे दी स्पिल नहीं चाहिए तो सानू ताड़ियां नहीं चाहिए because I'm not going to do a Qawwali traditional album. I'm going to do a modern album. ਤੁਸੀਂ बस गाना बस क्लिक देते रिकॉर्ड करना क्योंकि ਮੈਨੂੰ टाइमिंग चाहिए
थी किसी का कितना सोना
सारे किन्ना सोना झूले झूले लाल मेरा पिया अगर आया. Magic Touch is the name of the album and I named it Magic Touch. So then that's what happened. Again, 6 months later, मैं music बाज किता सेगा. फिर 1991 ਦਾ ਉਹ album ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ. And the collaboration was the best thing I ever done. And then when I finished the album, when we sat down with Nusrat Saab, मैं क्या say, as long as he likes the music, that's all that matters. And he loved it. He goes, wow, best thing ever.
Has there ever been a moment in your life wherein you've just sat and you're like, this is unbelievable? Ever? Because you worked with possibly
every day of my life.
Every day in your life?
Yes, I'm still grateful for all the things. I've still not done enough. I'm still traveling. I'm still, there's no such thing as you're there, you've reached. Where is there? There is no destination. It just keeps going. I'm still growing and I'm working with like young kids now going, oh God. I don't ever say that if there's a guy working in McDonald's, I'll work with him. It's sort of having a good vocal, I've worked with the best of the best and I still work with the fresh people because they're the future, man. So ajkal, it doesn't matter,
So ajkal they crop the which is that one artist that you like?
No. Because that's what everyone asks me. There's some good singers, and
I'll be honest. I am selfish that I want the Bally Sagoo that I've grown up with. I want him back.
Well, I'm here.
But if I have to,
man.
But if I have to put in a vocals with one of these commercially popular artists,
who would you like to see me produce? See, people ask me the same question. For me, it's like anyone that sounds really, really good, or anyone that sounds good. I don't believe in auto-tune. I don't believe in singers that can't hold the notes. I always go through my singers. How many times do you hear auto-tune on my songs? Never. If you can't hit the notes, why am I going to tune you for? I'll get him. Why should I tune you?
True. So basically, summing up, Bally Sagoo is not really impressed by the way music is done today.
Oh, I'm 100% not impressed with the scene today, but I do like some songs. I do like some things, but majority of people want to do it fast. They want to tune it, and they don't care about stage performance. A lot of the singers, when you hear them on stage, they sound nothing like what they've recorded. They cannot do an unplugged session.
So once you're performing these days on the console, spinning the tables in one of the clubs,
yeah.
What is the one track that comes to you and you're like, I don't want to play this, but okay, and you spin?
No. I would play anything that the crowd wants to hear because I'm not the judge. The crowd is the judge. Whatever they dance to is what you got to play as a DJ.
Let me put it this way: which is that recent song that is still ringing in your head, which is pretty recent, Bollywood or a Punjabi song?
That sounds bad.
That's still in your head. A recent track. Or maybe that's on top of the top 5 songs in your playlist that you listen.
No, I listen to various types of different things that are current or not current. I don't have one particular thing that I hear, but I'm very particular about songs that I like because my taste is a lot different than average people. I'll tell you why. Because I listen to Arabic, I listen to Lebanese tracks, I listen to French tracks, I listen to Italian tracks, Spanish tracks, Punjabi tracks, Pakistani Sufi tracks, mellow tracks. I don't have one genre. I'm not very big on hip hop, like the Punjabi hip hop. I'm not very big on that. I prefer songs that have a good melody and have a good voice and have a good composition and have good, overall sound. The one thing that lacks is that what always puts me off immediately is the amount of tuning that goes on. It just puts me off when I hear an auto tune thrown so badly on top of a vocal. It's okay to use it a little bit when you're. I mean, I have this conversation a lot of times on the radio. People say it's absolutely true, but kids don't care. Youngsters don't care. They just want to sound good in the studio so that when they're out there, they sound cool. Problem ਉਹਦਾ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਦ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਾਣਾ live ਜਦ ਗਾਉਣਾ ਨਾ ਉਹਦਾ problem ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ because they don't sound like the record. The other thing is, right, people like acoustic stuff, unplugged stuff. I really like Punjabi songs that are very acoustic and very unplugged and that the person is singing on there. That's why Bollywood singers, they have a more polished tone than average Punjabi singers. There's a handful of Punjabi singers that do sound good and they sound nice, but there's a lot of them that don't really sound that great. It's credit to the producers that have tuned them, that have produced them, that have tweaked them. Alo ji mera vocal tusi tiyar karo, main roti khaan ja.
But in Punjab, half of the producers themselves are now singing the songs. More than half.
Well, ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਐਕਟਰ ਬਣੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਆ।
ਉਸ ਲਿਹਾਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਸੀ।
Yeah, but you see, I'm a producer. At the end of the day, there's a point you don't want to go beyond. I have access to everything in the world. I can tune my voice and make myself sound, like today. So why do that? If you're going to be a producer, be a producer and be a great producer. I class myself as a great music producer. I feel that. I think I've got the qualifications and I have the credentials after 50 plus albums. There's a point I won't go beyond. I don't need to jump on the mic to say, "Hun main abhi kar landa, hun main abhi kar landa, hun main abhi kar landa, hun main abhi kar landa." Why? Because ajkal kar de. No, I don't need to do that. Where I come from, I want to produce you. If I can produce you, that's the best thing I can do. If he's a good guitarist, I will record him. I won't bend your voice because you're the chief minister's son.
All right, one final couple of questions. Reggae music is how you started.
The best music.
And what I remember, reggae music in my head also is someone who we very recently lost, Taz, Stereo Nation.
Yeah, great close friend of mine. We grew up together. His albums came out pretty much the same time as mine.
Yep.
What was Taz's best favorite song? In my opinion, was Hunta Main Nachna. He came out at the same time as me. In fact, me, Taz, and Apache Indian, we three came from the UK and pushed the scene. And that's why the scene is what it's today. It's not just because of me. It's because of people like that. Apache Indian did some great stuff. Taz, myself, we were the first of the kind that really came through and did what we did. And it's a real sad loss to the industry because he's a great guy and he's got so much great tracks. And Minna Chota, he's like 3 years younger than me. But we all have the similar time birthdays. To me, Apache and Taz. ਸਾਡੇ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਦੇ birthday same time ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ। ਮੇਰਾ 19th
ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਤਾਂ 19 ਮਈ ਨੂੰ ਹੈ।
ਮੇਰਾ 19 ਮਈ ਨੂੰ ਹੈ। And ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ you can check on Google, ਉਹਦੇ 3 ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ. So we all are Tauruses, man.
But do you remember a memory of you sitting together and talking something which is like, wow, man, this...
Yeah, all the time. I mean, my phone is full of so many videos of us messing around, drinking, enjoying, chilling in the studio, swimming in the pool here. But there's so many times that we, oh, mere lage rehda hai. And on a pictures, he's got a garage. On the picture studio no braya. So Manu na Bally can come over, chill out, Bally man. I'll bring a drink with you. He was a very good cook. Cooking the बहुत शौकीन है ਉਹਦਾ Instagram देखोगे ना पूरे रोटियां दिखा रहे he's a very good cook I like cooking as well I'm pretty decent so we like making some good food meat dishes and then we like listening to some good music and just playing some good tunes his inspiration also was very reggae based so we have a lot of ਇੱਥੇ reggae zyada nahi chalda for some reasons Indians did not there's a lot of people that just don't like reggae here whereas for us reggae music was a major influence and I'll tell you why reggae and Punjabi music go so well together. It's like makki di roti and saag, man. It just makes it go together. Jida mera long wacha hoga, thank. It's a great tempo and it's a great style for Punjabi songs. More better than up-tempo dance track.
So reggae belongs to, if I'm not mistaken, the Caribbean side of...
Yeah, Jamaican music.
Jamaican Caribbean.
Yeah, and it's what we grew up with. And you won't get any Asian kid coming from that part of the world that says मैं reggae music नहीं करना ਇੱਥੇ ना काफी लोग कहते हैं ना साढ़े ਇੱਥੇ reggae नहीं साढ़ा ज़्यादा चलता or how many kids are making reggae music
no I don't remember a name
exactly साढ़े बहुत reggae music चलता है and मेरे गाने बड़े गाने सारे reggae style है long wacha Gunesh Mata, Churalia, have all got a reggae bass in them. In fact, I got a whole album called Essential Raga. Kali Teri Guttate Paranda. You know, all this is reggae. The whole album. Gidya Dirani. You know, all these songs have everybody knows I'm a heavy based reggae guy. And my bass lines are very reggae based. Tum, 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 Churalia. Tum, 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 tum. बेस लाइन इतने बज रही गाना इतने बजते हैं तभी ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਚਾ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਨਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਦੇ ਬੇਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਉੱਚਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ Churalia has one of the most deadliest bass lines on any desi song probably to this day true and ਉਹ 94 ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਬਣਿਆ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਊਂਡ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ that was because of obviously this combination of stuff my music does stand the test of time. And the reason being is because it's not done like an average overnight record. It's got something to it. I really spend a lot of time on my sound. I'm very particular about my sound. I will take a long time to get my sound right. मैं फहार नहीं पड़ता गाने देना. Never.
I'm going to ask too much for the last question. This might just be too much for you.
Okay.
But can you sing a couple of songs that you've mixed? Why? Because if you would have been in this era, like right of this era, you might just would have been inspired to not just produce, but also go on screen, sing your own songs, add some whatever hooks by downloading some hooks, etc. If you would have been today's artist, not 40 years back.
I couldn't answer that really because for me, I come back from such a background, a different genre. I don't think like the kids today think. I can't do what,
40 years Bally Sagoo has been spinning the tables. I want him to sing one or two lines of his favorite song.
मैं sing नहीं करता. मैं गाने पर रोंदा हुंदा मैं. I can do backing vocals.
Backing करते हैं.
Oh, hi. That's backing vocals. Oh yeah, and Haripa. And hoy. You'll hear my voice in a lot of songs. And then yeah, I jump on to all those type of things and stuff. I can auto-tune my voice, but no, I'm not going to do that.
No?
No, why? Because then I'm going against what I believe in.
You're 58. In India, 60 is the retirement age.
I'm not 58. I'm 57, man.
50? In a few days, you're 58.
My birthday's coming up soon. मेरा present किथे है?
मैं present में मंगवाया।
मंगान चलता लग गया मुझे।
नहीं मैंने दसो।
मेरी birthday होने वाली है।
इंडिया ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 60 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੰਦਾ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ।
60 ਸਾਲ?
60.
Oh, 60. So what does that mean? I should retire?
I'm asking you, is Bally Sagoo going to change the tables or he's going to keep spinning?
No.
He's going to come up with volume 3, new songs, what?
Pata nahi yaar, man. I have no idea. I just go with the flow, man. Enjoy the ride, man. Life is a ride, man. You got to keep enjoying it. Be grateful every day. Just keep traveling. I'm enjoying traveling around the world and meeting musicians. I love telling kids. I do a lot of talks. I do a lot of student chats. People always ask me very much the same question. How can I do this? How can I do that? What would you recommend here? What would you recommend there? And I always say the same thing, really. You can't make music for people unless you enjoy it yourself. Make what you enjoy and try to be different. Don't copy the trend. You should never follow a trend. You should always do your own thing. I've never followed a trend. मैं कदी नहीं trend follow करता. Why would I follow a trend? If you say to me, आजकल नहीं DHR trend चलता, I'll be like, so? My thing is about what's happening around the world.
So basically, a trend setter rather than a trend follower.
Well, I don't know. That's for you to say. I do what I enjoy doing, and that is making music for all types of audiences. I never make music for one audience. That's for sure. I don't care about one audience. I care about people around the world. And my Pakistani fans, mere both hai, mere Indian fan both hai, Gore, Kale, Chinese, all over the world. So I don't just do Punjabi songs. Why? Because then I will have a limited market. I've done so many. I mean, Sufi. I love half of my big songs were recorded in Pakistan. Dil Cheese and एक गाने में Pakistan record किए हैं. And I've come to India to record some of my best songs that people enjoy here. And then there's some obviously over there in England. So I travel just to get a tabla. I would go to Lahore just for a flute. I will go to India just to come back with a toll and come back to England. So I do that, but I'm lucky I can do that only because I have the experience now. You got to remember, when I started my career, people didn't listen to me. I used to stand outside my college with my rucksack and sell tapes in the street, just like Ed Sheeran started busking in a train station. I was selling tapes while my teachers were telling me, and my mom and dad, "Thada munda study nahi karda, ba road che khada rehanda, to pani ki bechda rehanda." I was selling tapes, man. I was selling mixtapes in 1981. In 82, I was selling mixtapes. Hey, buy one tape, 2 pound ਦੀ 3 pound ਦੀ tape buy ਕਰੋ, ਉਹ 'ਚ ਮੇਰੇ mix ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਤਾਂ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਉਹ mixtape ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ। And then next day ਮੈਂ ਵੇਚਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ 2-3 pound ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। In 1 week I would make 10-15 pound ਮੇਰੇ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। My parents were thought ਮੈਂ study ਕਰਨ ਗਿਆ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ study ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। I was more into my music, night and day. But it took me 30 years for me to get my music to you. Didn't happen overnight. ਮੇਰਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਗਾਣਾ 1989 ਚ ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। I was making so many songs before that, man. I didn't just wake up and thought, "Aaj main Bally Sagoo." I was making music in school, in college, standing in the road in the rain, selling my tapes. I know it sounds different now, but that's what I did. And my audiences were people walking past. Gore, Kale, Chinese, Pakistani munda, koi Indian munda hoga, koi Gujarati hoga, whatever. Every type of an
So
audience.
you've traveled the journey like this and not like this.
Yes, and it has to be like that.
So that is why your songs made in 94, 96 are still relevant for us today.
Well, I think I've hit people with those tunes because I get so many different people. I don't get just one person. I'll get somebody saying, "Oh my God, your Nusrat songs." Then I get another person, "Faji thada bahut like sharab sada." Then I get another one saying, "Gurnash Bata." You see the variety. Dilji sada gana. Then I get my Gore Kale friends. They like something totally different. They like a mellow track. We don't like Punjabi. So then I get another one that we only like Punjabi. I have all these different people. Some people say to me, "You shouldn't do Punjabi. You should do only this, or you should only do that." Make it, but I have so many different various people out there. Then I get ones who say, "Bhaji, tusi khali Punjabi gaane karya karo."
But when you can do everything, why not do everything?
And that's what I want to do. I mean, I've done French songs, I've done Arabic songs, I've done Japanese songs, I've done Chinese songs. I've got a lot of different people. Like Bengali song, Bengali gaane karo. You're not going to listen to Bengali songs, but I'll still do it.
Aye. This is 40 years into the game, the legend Bally Sagoo on Khabbi seat, the library of music. Thank you so much, bhai. Keep inspiring. And
Keep trying.
why keep trying? Keep inspiring. And we look forward to a lot of more songs from you.
Definitely. I'll
Thank
keep
you so
trying. I'll keep trying.
बहुत बहुत मेहरबानी. Thank you.
Pick up, pick up, pick up.